Thank you for staying with us right here Morning at NTV. My name is Romeo Busiku. Now, the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Uganda, CPAS, is set to host the 3rd East Africa Congress of Accountants in conjunction with the National Board of Accountants and Auditors of Tanzania on one side, the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Kenya on the other side, the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Rwanda too, and the Burundi Accountants Body. Well, the body signed a mutual recognition agreement in 2011 and ahead of this Congress on March 18th to the 20th. We want to know if this agreement is working, and to tell us more about this and the Congress, we have Derek Nkaja, the CEO of the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Uganda. A very good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning.
First things first, briefly shine a light on the role of the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Uganda.
The Institute is a national public body set up by an Act of Parliament to promote, develop and regulate the accountancy profession in Uganda. We are also responsible for promulgation or adoption of accounting standards in the country. And the route we took is always to adopt the international financial reporting standards. So we currently look at how those standards are developed. We participate in the development of the standards, and once they are passed, we look at how can they be adopted in the country, and we encourage our members, we encourage the companies to use them. We're also responsible for the conduct. We prescribe the conduct of accountants and practicing accountants. So in that we have actually a disciplinary mechanism where we discipline errant accountants. And the public of late, I'm happy they have started to understand that we do so. So a number of cases come to light, and we're able to handle them and then give the complainant feedback, and also the culprit is handled.
What are the standards of accountancy in Uganda so far on a scale of 1 to 10?
It's very interesting. Uganda as a country, we stand very well in terms of usage and adoption of accounting standards. On the continent, we rank among the first 10. And globally, we are known among the 6 vibrant accountants institutes on the African continent. Yes.
And the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Uganda is set to hold the 3rd East African Congress of Accountants on March 18th to the 20th of this month.
Yes.
Tell us more about the forthcoming Congress.
The East African Congress of Accountants is one of those products of the mutual recognition which was signed in 2011 among the 5 East African institutes of accountants. And our aim is actually to look at how do we help accountants to integrate in the process of the East African community integration. And we all know that it is very difficult to go where you don't know anyone. So one of the things we look at is how do we bring together accountants to know each other in this community. So the Congress is a mechanism of trying to have accountants across the board, across the region, to move from one state to another and be able to find friends, find colleagues, and see how they can synergize, how they can work together, and probably eventually how they can move and settle in a different state.
How was the idea of the East African Congress of Accountants mooted or rolled out, and why?
It was rolled as one of the mechanisms of actualizing the mutual recognition agreement. When it was signed in 2011, well, it was also signed in Kampala, where the Congress is going to be in September 2011. It was signed in Entebbe. We started looking at what mechanisms do we have to implement this MRA, given that the laws have not yet been harmonized. So we looked at the easy things. The easy things we looked around is that each one of us does a conference, but we do it for our own people. So we said, why not do one for all the accountants for East Africa? It does not necessarily that majority of our accountants will move, but those who are able to move will have an opportunity to come and enjoy Uganda and see what Uganda is like and be able to find new friends, and that's how the process of integration starts.
And the theme of the East African Congress of Accountants is integration for accelerated economic growth and development. But first things first, how will we achieve the integration in the first place to trigger that economic growth and in turn the overall development in the region?
The integration is actually starting to happen. Mm-hmm. We have several stages of integration. Integration at the professional level, I think we are integrating. We have harmonized our syllabus. We have harmonized the way we approach the profession, the conduct. We have mapped each other to the extent that we believe by the end of 2021, each one's syllabus will be mirroring the other, and that means we can say confidently that the qualifications in East Africa are the same. Because we have been changing the syllabuses over the years to match and make sure we have similar papers that can easily be converted. We have integrated the way we approach, because we use, all of us, the East African community, international financial reporting standards and all other standards we employ in the profession, so that is easy to integrate. Now that's the first set of integration. Now the second is, how do accountants practice across the region? We have made it easy that each one of us, if you move from one state to another, you are treated as a local. So you only have to look at the laws that apply to the local, and that's the laws, those are the very laws that you use. Even to countries which at times people say are very difficult, like Tanzania, we have had Ugandans go and register there to practice accountancy. So our integration as a profession is starting. The second level of integration will be on when the harmonization of laws have occurred. We anticipate that when that happens, then we will have a common accountancy law for the East African community, and that will make it even further easy for the professional accountants to integrate in the community.
Ms. Ankaja, let's talk about the worst case scenario where the boat has to continue sailing on its own just in case the politicians do not agree on integration. How can accelerated economic growth be achieved despite the absence of a united bloc?
We very much pride in ourselves as a profession that promotes economic growth. The accountancy profession, the research shows that for any vibrant economy, you need a vibrant accountancy profession. So already we have made our profession in Uganda vibrant enough to support our businesses, to support our economy for that economic growth. So the acceleration is on, actually. So if the integration does not happen, we believe we are still on track to achieve accelerated growth. Our numbers are increasing. This Friday we're having another graduation where about 400 other qualified people are joining the group. And we hope that as the numbers continue to grow, every business will be able to access an accountant, and that will help us with accelerated growth.
And what are some of the challenges affecting accountants in the region resulting from the absence of such a vital united bloc like the EAC?
Some of the challenges, actually, the way you see our uptake of or our approach to public aspects, especially when you look at public financing. And public financing starts from how we handle our taxes. Many jurisdictions that have less accountants, less vibrancy in the profession, the understanding of taxation is at a lower level, and that delays the way the government is able to collect revenue, the way the government will be able to apply those revenues to the development of the nation. So we hope and we believe that the vibrance of our profession helps the entire nation to look at how do we increase our basket, the revenue basket, and how do we make sure that everyone does not pay more than what he has to pay, but everyone contributes to the development of the country.
And what are some of the underlying or notable solutions to those underlying problems? And let's also discuss the impact of other sectors on the accountancy profession. What are some of the notable solutions to those underlying problems you just highlighted?
One of the things we see with the accountancy profession is that it survives in an environment where everyone should be willing to be open, where everyone is willing to follow the laws. So one of the things that we desire every public to do, every member of the public to handle, is to look at our laws and apply them. Now that will solve more than 90% of the underlying problems we have in the country if all of us we are following the laws as they are laid in our statutes. Because we have very good laws, but sometimes they are not fully implemented. The second one is for everyone to look at the accountant as a problem solver. Unfortunately, many businesses delay to use the services of an accountant, and you're brought in when actually it's too late for you to help the person thrive or survive. And that's our argument, that let us be appreciative of professionalism. For any economy that is run on market forces, professionalism is the key. Because you no longer have a direct state intervention into the activities. State is limited on policies, and therefore the professions are the ones helping you to safeguard each other and to promote each other's interests. So that also solves the challenges we do have. Because we believe as the country we have one of the best professional bodies to support the accountant himself and support the businesses. So on our side, I think the fundamentals are set. The government gave us a very nice regulatory environment. The biggest challenge is how do people use these services? Yes.
Ms. Nkaja, let's talk about integration again. On that note, what kind of strides have accountants made towards achieving EAC integration? Accountants in particular. Accountants in particular.
We have accountants who have made partnerships across. We have accountants who have solicited business across, because those are the baby steps that make integration real. I'm sure NTV coming here had to know how the media works in Uganda.
Indeed.
So until you know how the other side works, it's hard for you to move to the across the border. But we have had accountants who have been hired from Uganda to go and work across. We have people in almost all the 5 states employed, practicing, and that's the fundamentals we desire for accountants to spur integration. Yes.
Well, it's really amazing, Mr. Nkaja. Accountants were able to harmonize and reach out to each other within the East African region. In your opinion, why have the politicians failed to reach consensus on this very, very nail-biting issue?
Well, I may not know and be able to read the mind of the politicians.
But in your opinion, what do you think is the problem?
I think the way the steps of the integration were done, the last was on the laws. And until the laws are looked at, politicians will be hard for them to look at the integration in totality. For us accountants, it was easy because commerce is the easiest mode of movement. And we are looking at how do we aid commerce? How do we aid the business people? How do we aid everyone who would like to earn a living? And the fact that we already have an international framework probably also made it easy. Integrating countries, states, not all states are similar. We cannot say we can directly copy European Union. You cannot copy. We have to develop something from our local. So the politicians, I would say, let them look at their grandchildren. Let them look at, because even their children may not really be able to move as fast as the grandchildren. So you look at the policies that will work more than a year, more than 5 years, more than 10 years. If we take a narrow view of looking at how do we integrate within 3 years, that's not possible. We must be able to understand each other, understand the social fabric of every partner state, and be able to develop an integration that will never break. Yes.
From an accountant's perspective, how can the EAC integration dream be put into reality?
Oh, that's a nice one. First, I would appeal that the government facilitates most professionals that have not signed mutual recognition agreements. I think that's very critical, because because we are told that the theme of the new integration is based on the people. So when we start integrating the people, you integrate all the professions, integrate the business community, then it is easier to integrate the community. Yes.
Of course, you managed to achieve the impossible, bringing together accountants in the region. But besides unity, what will be the immediate benefits of the East African Congress of Accountants on the Ugandan economy in particular?
To bring in foreign exchange, because our friends across partner states are booking based on a dollar, so there is some foreign exchange that will come in. But importantly, we will consume services within the economy that has a multiplier effect on the hotels where we'll be and the economy at large. And then as the people will participate themselves, will go back enriched, because some of the topics we are looking at is how to accelerate economic growth, but also we are looking at how do we use our profession to understand the geopolitics of our states and be able to play and support the integration.
Derek Nkaja, the CEO of the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Uganda, many thanks for having made the time to speak to us.
All right.
Right about now, I'd like to link to my reporter, Stephen Mbide, for the latest with regards to the traffic update. A very good morning, Mr. Mbide. What's the latest?
Good morning.